Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're now ready to begin the Duke Press Conference. We're joined by head coach Mike Krzyzewski. We have student athletes Trevor Kills and Wendell Moore Jr. We're going to start with an opening statement from Coach, and then we'll take questions.
Yeah, well, congratulations to Mike and his team. What a journey they've had here. 4 incredible games. The last couple especially, they've been like a well-oiled machine. They're a team that you need 2 or 3 days preparation for, to put in your defensive game plan, and it still might not work. I think they're the team they thought they were going to be at the beginning of the year, and whatever. They hung in there, and they probably got tougher, built more character, and became so close. And it shows up in these last 15 games or so that they've played. They're really good. Our kids fought like crazy. We played hard. I thought, when an older team handles tired better, I know they played an extra game than us, but when you're older, you handle that better. I thought we played tired. Especially, Mark, he's played great. He didn't have the legs tonight, and he's got to cover Aluma, who's really good. Cattoor has done this at different times this year. He was spectacular, but it really starts with the energy that Murphy gives them, and the leadership that he gives them, and the experience. So, it's a good learning experience for us. We know, look, our kids have done a great job. 28-6, regular season champs. We're 0-0. I think we'll be a pretty good seed, and we got to move on and learn from it. But playing this game helps us, because this is the caliber of team and execution that you're going to have to beat in order to advance. So, if you want to open it up to our guys.
Yep, we'll take questions for the student athletes first. If you have a question, please raise your hand and we'll get a microphone to you. We'll start with Steve Wiseman on the front row here.
Thanks, Wendell. What did Virginia Tech do that made it so tough for you guys to get any kind of flow going on offense? What was it about their defense that was so tough?
I mean, for the most part, they just played really hard. Whenever we drive, they had 2-3 people helping. For the most part, I think we did a good job kicking the ball. We just missed a lot of open shots tonight.
Yeah, I thought our offense was good. We just didn't hit shots. We couldn't stop them. When you don't hit shots, you don't look like you're running good offense. But we got, even down 10, we got 2 threes that are in and out and missed 4 free throws. And I had not a problem with our offense. But, we couldn't stop them. That was the game.
We're going to go to the second row on the right side of the room.
For both of you guys, Coach just mentioned it, Hunter Cattoor had 31 points and obviously had a sensational night. At what point did you start to realize that he was heating up, and what was the difficulty in containing him today? Trevor,
could you start us off with that one, and then Wendell?
Hunter's he's a great player. He really leads them. He gets hot. He's a great shooter. He was running off a lot of down screens. I think our communication was a little off. I think we fought through some of them, but then again, he made some tough shots. That's what big-time players do. So you gotta give him all the credit for it.
I'd say he had a Klay Thompson night. Just try to figure out how long did he have the ball to score 31 points. He moves so well. He moves as well without the ball as anyone that I've seen in our conference, but that I've seen this year.
We're going to go to the right side of the room to Mike Barber.
For the players, I'm curious. You heard your coach just say you guys are 0-0 now. How do you reset mentally to kind of tackle the next challenge?
Wendell, can you start us off with that one?
We move on to the next one. Tomorrow we're going to see where we're seated at, and then we just go from there. We get a couple of days of good practice in order to prep for who we have. We got to forget about this one. The game's already over. Again, hats off to Virginia. They're a great team. Virginia Tech, I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, so they're a great team. I mean, at the end of the day, we just got to move on. We got another season coming ahead of us.
We're going to go to the front left.
Coach, you mentioned Storm Murphy.
Why
We're
don't
going to
you-
take
I'll
questions
get
from
you
student
first,
athletes
then,
right now,
please.
and then we're going to
Sorry.
get to Coach. Yep. Let's go to the back right of the room.
For the players, how disappointing is it to come this close but not win the title?
Wendell, can you start us off with that one?
Is that me? I mean, obviously, it's extremely disappointing. I mean, we came down here to ultimately win a championship. We fell short of our goal. But at the end of the day, I mean, I'm proud of all of our guys by the way we fought. We've had 3 hard, tough games against probably 3 of the top 5 teams in our conference. I mean, every time we play these teams, they play us hard every time. And I'm just proud of the fight that our guys showed. Like last night, we got down early against Miami. We could have folded there, but we fought back all game. Syracuse the same way. So, I mean, I'm proud of the way we played this week. I mean, obviously, we're disappointed that we lost in the championship, but that doesn't define how well we played this whole week.
We're going to go to the Miller room, second row.
This is for Wendell or Trevor. You guys were able to hold Aluma scoreless until about the 6-minute mark in the first half, and then he kind of got loose. What did you see from him specifically that allowed him to turn it on?
Trevor, can you take that one for us?
Like Coach said earlier, Luma's a great player, very versatile, pick and pop. He can pretty much do whatever. So we play good defense. Start off. He's gonna get going. He's a great player. You're not gonna completely shut him out the game. He do so much for the team, and he stepped up in big moments. And you got to give all the credit to him. Yeah.
We're going to go to Connor O'Neill in the middle of the room.
Wendell, you guys looked like you had turned a corner defensively back to the game at Virginia and then the 2 after it at Syracuse and Pitt. What's gone on the last 4 games defensively where it looks like you guys are not in rhythm?
I think our communication's been a little off. I definitely feel like the effort's there from all of our guys. I just feel like we're a little late on our talks, a little late on the switches. So again, that's all little things we can clean up. So we have a couple days of prep for it.
Our last question for the student athletes will come from the second row in the middle of the room.
Yeah, hey Wendell, can you just evaluate where this team is at compared to maybe the beginning of ACC play and the beginning of this tournament even?
Yeah. I mean, I think we're a lot more mature team. Even you saw last Saturday how young we were. I feel like this week we really grown up. Over the past few days we had a couple meetings, a lot of hard practices, and it kind of turned us into men over the past couple days. I know we fell short tonight. But that doesn't.
Let me tell you, these kids have done a great job. We start 3 freshmen, 2 of them are 18 years old. They've won 28 games, they've won the regular season, and they're going to be a top 3 seed somewhere, 2 or 3 seed. Come on.
This time
They've had a fantastic year. I'm proud of them, and that's the ticket you punch. Everyone punches a ticket, and you get a place in line. We'll find our place in line tomorrow. Ours will be a decent one. Then you're 0-0, and you go for it. Only 68 of 350 something get. This isn't bowl season, all right? And these guys have earned the right. And the team we played was not sure if they made the tournament because of all the prognosticators. And they punched their ticket vehemently tonight. And God bless them, they deserve it. But that's the beauty of our sport. So how we move on, we're going to move on really confidently and energetically. Why would we not move on that way? Especially with the season that these kids have had and hopefully the learning experience that they've had in 34 games. You guys can take off.
At this time, we'll dismiss student athletes. Thanks so much, guys. We'll now take questions for Coach. If you have a question, please raise your hand.
Because we passed up on this one.
Start to the front left here.
Coach, you mentioned Storm Murphy and his leadership in your opening statement. You had an embrace with him at the end before leaving the court. What were some things that you said?
No, just wow. Look, I wanted to those kids deserved it. They played lights out basketball and have played lights out basketball in order to put themselves in a position. Look, they're 2-7 at one time in our conference. Look, in my profession, I respect the other guy, and they deserve utmost respect. And that kid's their leader. He's a tough player. He's a tough player, and I wanted to make sure, that he knew that Duke University Duke basketball feels that way about him. We got beat by some really good competitors tonight, really good basketball players.
We're going to go to Mark Berman on the front row, to my right.
Mike, you had mentioned that Tech's the kind of offense you really could use 2-3 days to prepare for. What had you hoped to do defensively against Tech that you were not able to tonight?
Well, our staff, the scouting, the first line is no threes. So when you go 4 for 4, all of a sudden the scouting report's not. We haven't followed the scouting report. But they have such good movement. And when you're going against incredible movement, you have to have incredible talk. And that's the toughest thing to teach a young team defensively, is constant communication, so that you have a coordinated effort. Because if you don't do it, boom, they got something. And Mike, he's such a good coach, and their offense is very precise, very, very precise.
We're going to go to the middle of the room, to the back.
Coach, you praised Storm Murphy and his play, and something that stands out to me is the way these teams come out in their starting fives. Your one is Trevor Keels, who's 6'4", 220, and Storm Murphy's barely 6 feet, 180. Is that not a matchup that you guys look to exploit in the post, similar to the way Keels exploited Davian Williamson when you were in
If we're
Mississippi?
playing one-on-one, they have help. Obviously you're trying to exploit a lot of matchups. The main thing we have to do is stop Murphy. That's the matchup we have to stop. Were you saying we should post Trevor against him?
2 straight possessions in your game in Winston-Salem. Trevor, it was an
we
emphasis to back
played him
down.
at Duke, but yeah.
No, I know. I remember the game in Winston was when this highlight. Forbes subbed Davian out of the game because Keels backed him down and scored on him twice in a row. I was just curious if doing that to Storm was something that he considered.
Okay, I'll put it down. Thank you. Thanks for the help. I appreciate it.
We're going to go to the back right of the room.
Hey, Coach. The 3 teams you play in the tournament, Syracuse, Miami, and Tech, are 3 teams that weren't in the ACC when you first started, which I think is sort of emblematic of the way the conference has changed as you've been here. What has it meant to you to be in this conference and see it grow for 4 decades, and how do you think it's gotten better or worse since you got here?
25 words or less? Or just no, the conference is great, and the addition of these 3 great schools has helped the conference. Not just in performance, but geographic footprint, and the fan bases. Virginia Tech has a rabid fan base. They support their teams as well as anybody, and that showed tonight with the amount of people they had here. That was I think a big time. So, the conference has benefited greatly from that expansion, and I love the fact that the people who run it saw fit to recruit these 3.
We're going to go to the left side of the room on the aisle.
Mike, you alluded to respect for Mike Young. What have you learned about him since he's been in the league, and what do you respect about his teams?
Well, I knew him before. His teams play hard together. They don't make many mistakes, and they don't beat themselves. And like any coach, the older the team you have, the more you've had a chance to develop those habits. And getting Aluma and Murphy from his old school was good recruiting, and he's one of the better coaches, and they're a together group. They have great poise. And they're very difficult to beat. And we knew that coming in. We were ready to play. We weren't as sharp as we needed to be, but obviously they were the better team. But they're a really good team. They're not. This isn't like some happenstance or whatever. They're an excellent basketball team.
We're going to go to the back row in the middle of the room.
Hi, Coach. Listen, I know you don't want to talk about the fact that you're leaving, but I do want to frame a question this way.
About 5 minutes. So yeah.
I do want to frame a question this way. Do you think it frustrates your players at all that they can't they know what's going on, they know this is your last season? Do you think it frustrates your players at all that they couldn't deliver these sort of signature wins?
We talk about it all the time. I tell them all the time, don't worry. Don't ever worry about me. I want to be in their moment. So even in a moment of defeat, I want to be in that moment with them. You know, like it's our moment together. And how do we use it? How do we get better? And if you're always thinking about the last game or this or whatever, you can't get into that moment. We never talk about it at all. You know, last weekend the whole world was talking about it. And so it was difficult. It was a very difficult weekend. And what we've tried to do is not just eliminate everything. Eliminate everything. It's for these kids. These are young guys, man. Even Wendell, as a junior, he's 20. They're just young guys, and I've loved coaching them. And I think we can be good in the tournament. And we just got to keep learning. I was real positive with them afterwards and said, let's go. 0-0. We punt 28-6, regular season champs. Great job. Great job. I wish all my teams had achieved that much. And I think we'll be a decent seed tomorrow. And then let's get refreshed and get ready. So that's what we're trying to concentrate on.
We're going to go to the back right.
Hi, Mike. After the Carolina loss, you had mentioned and harped on your concerns about the defensive effort in that game. Your team's actually dropped in defensive efficiency since then. You're now 44th in the country. Speaking to how young this team is, with all those decades of experience you have coaching, how much confidence do you have that you can still raise this team's ceiling defensively as you go to the tournament?
Yeah, very confident because we'll be able to practice. Since the Carolina game, you have like one practice, and you play 3 straight games. For a veteran team, it doesn't lessen as much. Their habits are well defined. Younger teams, you have to keep reinforcing it. And when you play 3 straight like this, like especially this team, it's kind of like when we played Virginia the second time. We played them the first time. We had 1 day of practice, and we could not stop them. The next time, we won by a little bit. It's not like we dominated, but we played better defense. The more we can get some practice time in, the better our team will be, because they work hard. They work hard.
Coach, that's all the time we have for you. Thanks so much.
Appreciate it.